Hiccup has finally fulfilled his dream of creating a peaceful dragon utopia where Vikings and dragons can coexist. However, when a female Night Fury, or Light Fury in this case, draws Toothless away, Hiccup's reign as chief is tested as danger mounts up at home, and now both Hiccup and Toothless must make impossible decisions in order to save their kind. I like both of the first two How to Train Your Dragon movies. In fact, How to Train Your Dragon 2 is one of my favorite animated movies of all time. So yeah, I was pretty excited for this movie. That said, I pretty much say that in almost all my videos, so no surprises there. One of my favorite things about these movies is the animation, and in that department, The Hidden World does not disappoint. Like, at all. This movie is beautiful! It is gorgeously rendered from top to bottom. There's one shot early on in the movie where Toothless and Hiccup fly over to a whole cluster of other dragons that are just filling the screen. Nothing, I mean nothing, looked copy and pasted. Everything that was shown on screen looked like it had been rendered individually. Every dragon looked like it was living and breathing and moving in its own unique way compared to the other ones on screen. The use of colour and the designs of all the dragons is mesmerising. There was never a shot that made me think, nah, that animation don't look too good. Everything looked fabulous! The first two movies played with the idea of dragons and Vikings coexisting with one another. In particular, the second movie. However, in this movie, it feels like that idea has now been fully realised. The Dragon Viking utopia was just so fascinating to me that even though it was explored to a satisfying degree, I still wanted to see more of it. The story itself took me off guard a bunch of times. I would say that it has a really clever way of setting up things and then backfiring on them in a way that doesn't seem like a cop-out. It's a story that constantly sets you up for something and then shows you something that you didn't expect. Storytelling like that is why I love movies like The Sixth Sense, The Dark Knight, and The Last Jedi. You better believe it! My favourite kind of storytelling is the unpredictable kind. The kind that plays with your expectations. When done right, it can make for a really engaging narrative, and How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World is definitely one of those movies. Although with that said, I don't think this movie is as good as the first two. It's one of those situations where the filmmakers have managed to deliver a truly satisfying finale to a really good trilogy of movies, albeit not flawlessly. My main issue with the movie is the villain, Grimmel. Why? Because he's just another dragon trapper and not much else. And because there's not much else to him, he just comes across as a really boring villain. You could even argue that he didn't even need to be in the movie at all. They could have just made it about Hiccup's quest to find the hidden world and Toothless trying to develop a relationship with the new dragon. That would have been enough. If someone said to me that the Grimmel scenes were from a different movie altogether, I genuinely would have believed them. His scenes are so tonally separate from the rest of the movie that it just felt like I was watching a bad animated version of Victor Zsasz from Gotham. This might sound like a bit of a nitpick, but there was a scene where a boat got lit on fire, but then when it cut to a shot of the same ship but from a bird's eye view, it wasn't on fire at all. My girlfriend and I noticed that and we were just like, what? The best part of this movie for me was easily the relationship between Toothless and this new Light Fury. The scenes where Toothless was trying to woo this Light Fury were hilarious. But it was also cool to see the romance aspect from a different angle. In the last two movies, the romance was more human-based, but in this one we get to see it from the perspective of the dragons, and obviously because the dragons can't talk, we get to see the romance from a more visual perspective. We get to see Toothless trying to impress her by doing things like dancing around, drawing on sand, and the lack of dialogue in these scenes actually really works because it's just these two dragons trying to woo each other, and it's actually kinda touching and kinda cute. Okay, it's really cute. The action sequences are dazzling. They make for some of the most exciting moments in the movie. Even if they aren't quite as exciting as the action sequences in the second movie, they are still a joy to watch, and the, as per usual, incredible music cranks the enjoyment up to 11,000. I had a lot of fun with How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. The animation is beautiful, it's hilarious, the music is legendary. Even if narratively it's not as much of an enthralling experience as the first two, it's still a really satisfying conclusion to an excellent trilogy of movies. Still though, I get they needed a threat, there's no question about that, but seriously, make it something more interesting than Grimmel, cause oh my days, he is so boring! Anyway, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World gets an 8.8 out of 10. So those are my thoughts on How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. I do hope you enjoyed this video. We'll say this though. Sorry for the lack of content recently, I can't really help it. I'm at a really busy stage in my life right now, and that's all I'm going to say on that front. So, unfortunately, that does mean that the amount of videos that are going to be uploaded between now and, I guess, the end of the year, let's just say, is going to be limited. So, don't expect a video every week is what I'm saying. Anyway, once again, do hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter if you want. And I will indeed see you guys in the next one. But before I go, I would just like to ask you guys, what did you think of How to Train Your Dragon The Hidden World? Did you think it was good? Did you think it was bad? Did you think it was somewhere in the middle? Please leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and see you around.